These are the German forces that will participate in this scenario. It's number 7 out of the book, and it's going to be envelopment. For the Germans, we start out with the officer corps. We have a captain and a first lieutenant, each with assistants. We have some full German squads, kind of a typical loadout. You have 1 submachine gun in there, and you have 1 light machine gun. These guys are going to head into the forest in the Wappel Blitz. We have a second full squad here. They've got the Hanomag. We have a smaller squad over here, kind of a minimal sized squad. Maybe something that kind of protects from outflanking, whatever. They also have a light machine gun. They do not have transport, at least not to start the game. Typical weapon teams here for the Germans. A couple of machine guns and the medium mortar. This is the most unusual unit for the Germans. This will be the Kreuzschützen. Really want to see what these guys can do. Most everything is from bolt action. These aren't from Blacktree. I have to think of the name of the company, and I'll maybe put that in the credits of the video. Really want to see what these guys can do in a high movement scenario like this. Movement side, we also have the STK 222, an armored car. Again, kind of a fast recce vehicle. So we have the light howitzer here. They do have some armored support in the form of this Panzer III. Got 1,250 roughly points of Germans here. 14 order dice. And we'll see how they do in this scenario. Now we've got the French forces. Obviously they're going to be the defender in this envelopment scenario. But as I said in the kind of hypothetical thing, what if a lighter, more mobile French force could have possibly intercepted the German columns in the Ardennes? So that's what we're going to play out here. So that's why you see some of the Lafley transports. But we're going to start down here with the officer corps, just like the Germans, a captain and a first lieutenant. Experimented here. The captain has actually 2 attendants with him. Just want to see maybe if in the initial bombardment that prevents possible morale test right off the bat. Artillery wise, we have a free medium howitzer, we got the observer, and we have the light 75. That actually has its own transport. So that's a Citroen armored car. It actually does have a machine gun on it. So that could play a role possibly for the officer corps. We'll see what happens there. We also have full squads for the French. We're going to start with this one here. This is obviously in the Lafley transport here. We snuck in some submachine guns. We also have a light machine gun in there. So this is just an experiment to see what would happen. There's one submachine gun, a couple of lights. So paid a lot of points. We'll see how that works out. Haven't tried that before. Similar squad over here. Again, another full squad. The difference here that this Lafley is the Warlord Games Lafley, and this is from Mad Bob. This is one that I converted. You can see a little crew member on there. Here is another squad. This one's also full, but this one has a VB launcher. So again, I just want to see what these different weapons can do in a game. None of this is tournament ready. I just want to see what happens. One of my favorites, you have the Panhard armored car, also from Warlord. Then we have some of the specialty things. We've got a medic. We have a sniper team. An anti-tank rifle, which comprises the entirety of the specified French anti-tank defense. Just trying to keep that sort of similar to what the situation was like. Just not a lot of anti-tank action there. And then a machine gun and a mortar team. So these are the French forces. This is 16 order dice. So it's a large force. There's a lot of guys there. We'll see how all this works out. So I wanted to go over the terrain rules very quickly. This is my forest board. I have a bunch of the articles on how these terrain pieces were made, the hills, the forests, this river, pine trees, several posts on the blog, and I'll have lots of links listed for you in the text, maybe in the closing credits too. There's also articles about how I painted my backdrop, which makes it a little bit nicer for you guys to watch this battle report. The mat itself, let's get a little close-up on that. This is actually from the folks at Table War. I really like this mat. They're so rugged. And you can see you can build your terrain to really work with these things. It's able to match the colors relatively well. The hills, as I get down here, you'll see that they have some height to them. So these are really going to obscure an awful lot. That's kind of the point. The river, this has got its own set of special rules. The river is considered impassable to troops, to open-top vehicles, wheeled vehicles. So, in effect, the only vehicle in the game right now will be that Panzer III. Because the Laffleys and the Hanomag, they are open-topped and wheeled, and also the Panhard as well, and the 222. So that could be a big advantage for the Germans, having the one vehicle and get across that river. The forests, I want to talk about those because in the rules they are dense terrain. So I'm going to try and shoot this from above here, and let's make it. So let's see our laser pointer right here. A squad that is on this side, can't see one over here, and vice versa. This is considered to be infinitely tall, a giant cylinder. Same goes for here. So again, you can see that line of demarcation. If you're behind this line, you cannot see what's on the other side of that forest. Just makes it a lot cleaner, a lot easier, and that's what really makes this a tough board to move freely around and avoid ambushes. So I'm going to start deploying the forces. Again, the French have to go first. Both sides have to declare what units are going to be in reserve. And then we'll get to that prep bombardment. As you can see by the dice in the cup, French chose to have 8 units on the board to start the game, and these guys will be vulnerable to that prep bombardment. They're also hidden, because the hidden setup rules are available, actually to both sides technically. So the green markers, those will indicate hidden. Chose green because, well, it sort of goes along with the green backdrops. The red dice demarcate where the deployment zone is for the defenders here. Out here we've got observers and sniper teams, because looked at the rules for the scenario and these guys can set up. These guys have some clever hiding positions. We have sniper team here. That is the observer, cheeky observer. Or that medium mortar. Observer, or that's for the medium howitzer. The medium mortar is right there. And that mortar really hidden in the woods over here. The anti-tank rifle team, which is here. Wasn't really sure. I didn't want to get them in the center of the table. Just thought this might be the place where armor want to come through. So the anti-tank rifle team is there. They can always move if possible. Over here, you've got that light 75mm howitzer. And a machine gun over here. And is also part of the terrain rules. These bushes here, these shrubs, all of these provide cover. So we've got the Medium howitzer in the forest again. It's in a hidden position. It's the same thing all along here. All of these shrubs, even along the riverside, those are all available to use as cover. And I'm going to swing back around. The citron, I use that, actually I'm using it as a transport for the captain. So he and his 2 assistants are in the citron. So that could get nailed by a prep bombardment possibly, but also wanted the captain out there in case there was a whole bunch of pins applied to these guys. Now as far as the Germans, they've nominated everything to come on the first wave. That's really predicated on the scenario because they need to advance from this side of the board, get their guys off of this side, off into that countryside there, and break out into the interior. So they have to get through these hedgehogs. This is another thing I was trying to represent, were these defensive, these are machine guns, few artillery pieces. And this is ultimately the Germans kind of bypass those. We'll see if they can bypass those today. So I'm going to get to the prep bombardment and we'll see what the results are on that. After the bombardment, we see that the German gunners, for whatever reason, were really locked in on these units. The very first shot the Germans took was at the mortar team, and as you can see, 6 was rolled, and they dropped 2 pin markers on it. I think there might be an additional one I have to check, but 1 guy was killed from that team. The anti-tank rifle also got a couple of pins. The citron transport, that took a pin, and obviously the passengers have their pin too. The light howitzer was also given a couple of pins. You see over here as we scroll. Sniper team, that has pin. Machine gun team has a pin. But the medium mortar, that escaped. So the biggest target somehow escaped all attention. Maybe being up on top of a hill in a forest helped. So that's deployment. That is our preparatory bombardment. So let's get those Germans on the table and let's start playing this game. We have the German forces. They're deployed over here. This is the spotter with his mortar unit. So that's their first order dice. They just kind of joined with the spotter right there. They threw in the first French dice that was drawn, because that is the communications breakdown, and they didn't want the French to be getting rid of pins, doing rallies and that sort of thing. So that was our first move by the Germans. So the first actual order dice of the game technically went to the German. The next one went to the French, and we had the officer, the captain, and the citron try and do a rally. All he could see around him was the howitzer. And we'll tell the story of that after we show the dice that I use for, I'm going to be using all these battle reports. This is Dice of War. It's Adam. He does a fantastic job. You can get full sets of just about everything. Anything you can imagine, any country, unit. I mean, he pretty much makes it. Now, the captain, as you can see, he was successful because he got rid of his pin and the citron's pin. But we see 2 French flags, which meant Fubar, and the howitzer is now down. So that is not going to be doing a whole lot for a while. So that's a big deal. That means the Germans can advance along here. I'm thinking maybe they're not going to have as much retribution. So let's see what the next order dice is going to be. Next order dice was French, and we're going to see if the sniper team can pass an order test to A, get rid of its pin, and go on ambush. So here's our roll, and 6 is going to do it because they were regulars, just like everything. Kind of try to keep it easy for this first battle report. Everybody's regular on both sides, which meant an 8 was needed, and we've got a 6. So the pin is going to go away. And they're in ambush, which means they are still technically hidden also, because I think it's a fire, advance, run, any kind of aggressive type of thing. That's going to draw the attention of the enemy and make you visible. So let's try another order dice here. It's going to be quite a little racket as I deal with this, and that is German. Let's see what we want to do with the Germans. I think we're going to bring on that machine gun unit. So I'm going to set this up over here. Sorry for the dizzying array there. And I'm going to actually have them run onto the board over here. And have them try and use some of this cover because the sniper team can't see them. And I want them to command this area over here. So that when those French units come on, they have to be a little bit more careful where they are. Let's try another order dice here. This one's French. And I am going to try to set up this machine gun team in ambush just like we did with their sniper teams. There's the ambush. They're still hidden. Let's move this back over here. Order test. They're regular, so we're hoping for some 8s, and that is exactly what we got. So the pin will go away, and they are now in ambush. So let's center this on them while we grab another order dice. This is the first battle report, so I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do this. Look at this, another French dice. Another French dice. I want to see what the Germans are going to do and respond to that. So what I'm going to do is actually take my camera over here, and I'm going to try and rally this anti-tank team right here. So let's see. Grab a couple of dice here. And that is not going to do it because 2 pins drops them down to a 7. We have an 8, so they are changing that to down. So the French not doing real well. They're getting the order dice, but not doing real well with the order test. So we're going to do this again. And now we've got German dice. Let's set up the camera over here, get a view of the middle of the table. And I'm going to have this howitzer move on. So here's the light howitzer. Just have to figure out where that should go. Obviously, I want to avoid that sniper team. And unfortunately, looks like the only place that they can go is going to be here in the woods, because I want them to have some type of cover. So let's get them over here into the woods. And that's going to be a run. So there's your Germans, kind of piling up in the corner over there again. That's the thing about being in this forest. There's an awful lot of places to hide. And we have another German dice. I don't want to commit any mobile stuff just yet. So I think I'm actually going to use one of my, here we go. So this is where, so I got my line here. Just want to see what can that sniper see. So I can go into here with the unit and not have to worry about that ambush. As long as I'm behind this line. There we go. Yep. So that's about my line right there, marked by that dice. What I'm going to do is actually have, I will actually have one of the transports come out. And I'm going to have it be the Wappel Blitz. Apologize for the quick transfer of scenes here. Camera actually fell out of its little tripod holder. The dice was German, and the Wappel Blitz did its move. It was just in advance because it was trying to avoid a couple of ambushes, one by the sniper and by this machine gun team. See, there's a window in here where the machine gun team could have seen him. As I scroll up like so, scan up this way, you can see that that keeps both of those teams off of the Wappel Blitz because there were passengers inside. We don't need to give them unnecessary pins. So here we are with the next dice. This one is going to be French right here. And a lot of the units on the board have failed rally tests. We're going to go over here and try one with our intrepid mortar team right here. So I'm going to get rid of this German dice. Got a bunch of pins to get rid of, which means as a regular they're 9. 2 pins drops that to 7, but it looks like they are successful with 6. So 1 pin is gone, and well, the other one's a moot point. We rolled a 4, so that would have gotten rid of 4 more pins. So both pins are gone, and now we've got a usable hidden mortar unit. Now it could be possible that the German forces attempt to kind of press the issue on some of these ambushes here. It is, you go out there and you say, alright, activate your ambush, now you can be hidden. So, depending on what the next dice is, maybe that's something we can try. But the next dice is French. And I believe the only unit that is left on the board is the medium howitzer. So what we're going to do is we're going to maybe grab one of those French units and maybe have it advance to here. And I'm going to say it's the squad that doesn't have a transport. So let's grab those guys, put them out on the board. And as I said before, bushes do offer cover, so we'll get some. And I believe they can run to this position because it's definitely less than 12. Obviously they won't be shooting, so there's the run order. There's machine guns. That's maybe an inviting target for the 222 to drop a couple of templates on, but hey, that's what happens when you have the bigger squad. Whoops. First, we're going to do an order test. Speaking of which, I'm going to back this out. And we need an 8 because they are regular. And order test successful. So I don't have to take them off the board. That would have been inconvenient. Alright. Oh my goodness. Next one is also French. Again, that is not really what they wanted. So we're going to put ambush. Ambush on our medium howitzer. Gonna grab the next dice. There's a lot of German dice sitting in there, and now we have a German dice. And let's get a machine gun team out here. And actually, I'm gonna position that right over here on this side of the river. So we're gonna force potentially an ambush. So it's a run order. And I'm gonna put this here. And actually not going to activate. So we're going to let these machine gunners here, even though they're right in the teeth of, let's get them behind our cover here. So there's a nice little look. The duel between the machine gun team potentially and the sniper. But the sniper is still waiting for something juicy to move along this line. So let's draw another order dice. That is also French, which means more has to come on the board. I really don't necessarily want that to be pan hard. I'm going to have it be the other officer team, and guess where he's going to go? He is going to go over here. So let's set up our camera here where you guys can see that. We have a couple of dice. I'm going to roll this. And he's going to give some leadership to himself. So, but guess what? That's going to fail. So he is going down off the board. Yeah, the French not killing it with the leadership tests. Next dice is German. Now let's see what they're going to do. At this point, now with all of those troops being stuck over there, I think, yep, I'm going to bring in the STK, and I think I can sneak by a unit here, and I can advance 9. So there's our Hanomag who's joined these guys over here. Let's see what he can maybe see to possibly shoot at. And it looks like he does actually have sight 2. For the heck of it, he's going to shoot at the observer. See if he's got the range, first of all. And we're going to check it's 36. This is going to be kind of close. It is just enough. Literally by 1/8 of an inch. So it's going to be the last roll of this segment because I don't want to have too many long segments. Don't want to go over 10. So here's our roll. That's 2 shots. Oh, that was the order test to come on. Sorry. 6 shots for hit through the buzzsaw. Kind of get you the dice in here because I got a whole bunch of dice. So 6 brings them on. And I don't see any hits there because move is 4, distance for 5, cover for 6. Small team. Would have needed 7s, 6 by 6, and there are no 6s in there. So no pins. And there's our advance order. And the guys obviously stay in the Hanomag. So let's draw ourselves a dice. Which is German. So again, the question is, do you want to push? Let's not do the open-topped SDK over there. We've got the troops over there. SDK is going to move into this area here. And it is possible to avoid all the ambushes. And it's a wheeled vehicle, so it can easily go 12. And as long as it stays here, that's going to avoid the ambush over here by the machine gun team. However, he can, if we remove the smoke from the barrage, I believe that he has line of sight, yep, to the howitzer, which is not in ambush because of the, that is down. So we'll see if they can actually manage hit on that. We've got the two, let's go, we're going to go with the machine guns. Just try and get some more shots. Maybe throw a pin. Maybe get a pin on that howitzer there. There's 6 dice. There is 1 6 because movement. We did check the range. They did have the range just barely. So you had movement, range, makes it 7 because of down, and cover. So we need another 6. And there's no other 6s. So it was okay. It was worthwhile taking the shot. You never know when that's going to hit. And we're going to close out this segment. And we'll start back up again with the rest of turn 1. The next order dice was French. And we were able to successfully, for the first time, bring on a French unit. And this pan hard, because there's enough cover here, I think, to maybe block it from other vehicles that might come in later. It's going to advance ahead of the totally deactivated howitzer and see if it can drop some machine gun shots with its coax onto the 222. Reason being is it would be a really tough shot with just the main gun, and because of the distance and it being a light gun, just don't see it doing a whole lot. So I got some dice here. We got 5 shots, move 3, range 4, and a target is pretty much wide out in the open. So let's try that. And I see but 1-4. It cannot hurt the SDK, but what it can do is put a pin on it. Man, that's okay. At least it has to do some kind of an order test. So let's grab our dice here and pull the next order dice, which is also French. And because they want to see what the Germans are doing, they're just going to put one of their units down inside a transport. We'll draw the next dice. There may be a lot of this happening, I think, on both sides. This is German. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to go down in the Opel Blitz. And the next dice is the French. We're also going to go to down order in one of their Laffleys. So we've got another French dice. And they're going to try and bring on the medic team. And I believe that the medic is actually going to try and advance over into the corner over here. But first, let's do that order test. That is successful. So the medic clearly is very brave or very stupid. So the medic and his assistant, they're just going to come over here, run into the forest, because there may just be a lot of machine gun fire over in this area. So let's draw ourselves another dice over here, which is German. They're going down in bolt transfer, so now let's get that officer team. Nope, not the officer team. We're gonna go with that, the Panzer III, because it can traverse this river. It's fully tracked. So we're gonna move it. It's 9 inches. And that ambush doesn't mean anything. So what it's going to do is fire a whole bunch of machine gun shots into the sniper. So let's see what his advance will do. Get some dice rolling over here. Hitler's buzzsaw. It's going to mean 12 dice. So let's use our rolling tray here. We've got 6 already. Again, the dice are from dice of 4. I think I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12. Movement for 4. Cover. Oh, it's hidden. That is right. I'm going to look at the hidden rules real quick. And I think actually the SDK has a better chance. Any other? Yeah, they got to be 6 inches. So that's going to change what they're going to do. So it's going to become, they'll still move their 9, but the main gun is actually just going to try and drop some shots over here. So let's see what happens when we shoot at that unit. I'm pretty sure that's a little too far away for a machine gun shot. So we're going to go with the main gun. And it's a 3. So that is definitely going to be a miss. And I could shoot at them because they are not hidden. But the Panzer III is on the board. Only a few dice left. So we'll just close out the turn here. That is also French. And I'm going to throw it down. One of the Laffleys. There's only 1 French dice left. But that's drawn. Which is not. It's Germans. So now they will try to bring on one of the officer teams. And I think there is a safe spot for him to advance. I'm going to do his order test, which is successful with a 4. So he is going to join his buddies over here. That's going to be the captain. And they will try and run to the forest. So there he is, Captain, leading the way. He's checking out what's going on over there. So there's 3 dice left in the box, 1 of which is French, but it is German. And the other officer team, let's it's getting awful crowded over here on this side of the board. So we're going to have that officer team also try an order test and see if we can get them onto the table. And that's going to fail. I know it's going to succeed because he gives leadership to himself. So the first lieutenant is going to set up on the other side of the board. And I'm just going to deal with these last couple of dice here. This one is German. And the Kreuzschützen are actually, they're going to actually go down, as is the other French transport. So that's the end of turn 1. We have some stuff on the board. Really, obviously not a lot of firepower engaged. We had a few shots. We had a whole bunch of failed rallies. We had guys failing to come on the board. But the Germans do have sort of a fire base emerging over here. So we'll see how the French can deal with that. Again, we've got the Panzer III over here, and the only thing that can hurt it is a down anti-tank rifle team way over there. So let's catch turn 2. Turn 2. This is going to be interesting because the French have several units that are on ambush. Still the sniper, machine gun team, and for whatever reason I kept it on the howitzer too. There's still a lot of hidden units. Nothing's been revealed yet. We also have a pair of units like the anti-tank team and the medium howitzer. I chose to stay down because what that would do is get rid of all of their pins, because you lose 1 just for being down, and then D3 after that. First dice drawn is the German dice. And we're actually going to do some action here with the SDK 222. And I think it's actually just going to try and advance here. I don't want to have to recuate, and we have the officer nearby. Officer may not be in the vicinity, so what we're going to do is try and pass an order test here, which it does with a 5. So the pin goes away. And I think it's actually going to try and advance just to about here, because we don't want to be activating ambushes from either sniper or machine gunner. But what we can do, take a shot at the panhard. Now I can use the machine gun for that and just put a pin on it, but I'm actually going to try the auto cannon for the heck of it. And that 5 just may do it, because you have range probably of long. Nope, it is just in short, so that 5 is going to hit because there is no cover. There was just the penalty for moving. So I believe that is a +2. And with the roll of a 1, that's not going to do a whole bunch, but I do believe it is D2 pins. Let's see how many pins we get. So looks like a pin, second pin. Or is it D? No, D2 is just as 1 for getting hit, and 1 more. So the panhard got itself some pins. That didn't work out too badly for our SDK 222. We're going to pick another dice, which is French. Fortunately, the officer is near the panhard. Right over there in that Citroen. And I'm pretty sure that's within 12. So he is actually, yeah, we're just going to do the panhard trying to fire because we know the range. So we've got the dice out there. The 2 pins are basically eliminated. Now let's just do a quick double check here to make sure that the range is within 12. And it definitely is, by about 1/4 of an inch. And here's our test. 6 actually would have done it even without the officer. So the pins are gone. And it's actually going to just shoot its main gun. See if it actually take out the 222, because pins with that officer there are just not going to do it. Now, saw a 6, it rolls to a 3, which actually might just hit. I'm going to check the range. On a panhard here, so the range is 48 inches. That was close range. It did not move, so it actually is going to be a hit. Wow, glad it didn't move. And it is above, no, it's not above half range, so it's going to be at full penetration. So that is a 4. Plus 1 is a 5. So that's not going to, that's just going to put a pin. So a duel with the panhard and the 222. Just yields some pins. And the next dice is also French. What do they want to do? We're going to have the French observer here for, oh yeah, for the mortar. So he's going to lose his hidden because I'm going to say a fire order makes that. So there's your observer. And we're going to have the mortar because that's going to fire. It'll lose its hidden. And it's going to target. You can easily see the howitzer over here. Now he's going to actually target the mortar. Well, I'm going to say, can't really see the mortar. I'm going to say he's got to shoot at the howitzer. And ranging in. Oh my goodness. I see a French flag, which means he is now ranged in on the howitzer. Let's see what kind of damage that he's going to do. It's just going to hit the howitzer and nothing else. Does the howitzer go down to minimize the hits? The howitzer will go down to have the hits. I'm going to say basically everybody could get nailed. So here we go. Here's your roll. And that's going to be 2 kills, because I believe, I don't think you round down. I'll check that in the rules. If I get it wrong, I apologize. But now, that howitzer is in deep doo-doo. Because it's down to 1 man. Oh, wait a minute, that was a 6. See if he rolls another 6. It is not another 6. So he didn't wipe out the whole team in one shot. But that howitzer is in big time trouble. So we're going to put a fire order on the mortar. Wow, that's a big deal there. So next dice. Is German. And I think, because the Panzer III is getting sick and tired of this little standoff here, see if he can advance and just get that sniper team in his sights. So here comes Panzer III. He's going to try and move 9. I think he can get to right here. There you go. And he is gotta be not in range. He is just in range. So that means the hidden goes away. And he's definitely gonna go with the Hitler's buzzsaw. Trying to drop as many machine gun shots as possible into him, because he is just dominating things too much. We got 12 dice here. Movement for 3. Short range drops down to 2. Now the movement makes it 3 again. Small team 4. Cover 5s. So we're going to grab our 12 dice here. And 3 hits. Already had the ambush order on there, so I don't believe you can make it a down. However, nothing doing. So the big scary Panzer, all he manages to put a pin on the sniper team. But they're no longer hidden. Dice is also a German dice. What do they want to do? Well, we're going to have mortar versus mortar. So the German mortar right over here, using the observer in the tree, is going to try and take a shot at that mortar team that is locked in the woods. Whoops, that is not the right dice. That's a miss, but they're starting to range in now. And they could do that shot because now the mortar had fired and it had lost its status of being hidden. We have another German dice. And this time, now that what the heck, we're going to have the sniper, well, we're going to have them move onto the board. Right over here. Right into this area. So that's the smaller team that does not have transport. And they can avoid, they don't have to really worry about any kind of shots coming their way. So they're going to go the full 12 here. Where are we at? They can get right up behind 222. That's one of the reasons why I just decided to have that little party between the Panhard and the 222. So we got another dice. It's coming. Which is also German once again. And we're going to see what. Let's have the Hanomag over here do an advance. So we're just going to have it stroll down the hill into this area. gonna go, it's 9 down there, and it's going to try and shoot just for the heck of it at the mortar observer, and that's going to be 6s followed by 6s without a doubt, because they're down. Small team, cover, move, all that good stuff, and no 6s. No 6s, no harm. No harm done. At least not to the mortar. German dice, yet again. There's going to be a bunch of French dice. So let's have Kratschützen. Come on. So we're going to do their order test. Dice rolling around, and that is a 9. So there's a 5 there. So that's going to be a fail. The Kratschützen are off the board. Now they move really, really fast, so that's not a horrible thing. They're just going to go down. But it's all about getting guys off the board. So we go to the next dice. Now that is French. And let's see, we don't want our rifle team going. Let's go down in one of the transports. One squad down in a transport. This is a German dice. They really want to see what these Germans are doing. German unit goes down inside their transport. We go again. Oh my goodness. A German dice going down inside the Wappel Blitz. This is really going to be advantageous for the French. Oh, it's a German dice. We're going to have the junior officer team try and move on to the other side of the board. That is successful. And they're going to take up a spot in the woods here, because this is going to need some serious leadership, because we forgot the pins. So that is 1 pin for getting nailed, and I believe it was D3 pins after that. Oof, 3 more pins. So that thing is in deep trouble now. And again, I'm sorry if I forget things. This is definitely the first time doing this. We're going to learn all kinds of stuff here. So, French dice at last. What are they going to do? They still want to push the Germans, so they're going to go down in one of their transports. Gonna pull another dice. That is also French. And we're going to try and bring on an officer team. I'm going to say over in this area here. Which means I can go up to a 10. Good thing, because it's a 10. So I'm going to bring those guys on. There's your officer and his assistant, and they're going to head over here by the medic. It's just a little bit of a leadership bubble. So there's your advance. Next dice. which is also French because, my goodness, they have a bunch of them. And I'm going to activate the Citron, and it's going to actually take some shots, maybe hit the Hanomag, because it still has the officer inside. It can go 9 inches, so up to there. And fortunately it is tracked, well, half tracked, and it also has an enclosed cabin. That's something I learned about it as I read a little bit more. So the Citron will actually, I'm going to see if it can shoot at the machine gun team over here. It may be out of range. We'll see. It might be about 38 inches or so. Woof, it is a 1/4 inch away. So that shot, unfortunately, that shot is used. Next dice. That's going to be French too. Actually, this is starting to kind of equalize a little bit. So I got the big squad over here. They really can't see much of anything. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to join everybody else in ambush. So we're going to grab the next order dice. That is also French. The officer team inside. The Citron is going to go down. Next dice is German. And what we're going to do is push the officer team through the woods here, measure it out, go about to there. So it's just a basic move. They want to stay in their cover. The question is that other team, and for there's more. Yeah, we're not gonna waste a shot on those guys. Gonna wait for this to make its appearance. There's 3 French dice left, plus a couple of German. That one's German. This machine gun team here, and I'll show it to you after I grab my laser pointer. Now they would like to shoot at, yep, and they are blocked by their vehicle. So they are also going to go into ambush. So we have ambush on the machine gun team. Still not a lot left. Germans. And we're just going to move this truck forward just a bit. Truck, Wappel Blitz, has moved. It does have a machine gun on it, but what the heck, we're going to activate the ambush by that unit. So let's get some rolling going on here. Now, most of that's one disadvantage to having all those machine guns and everything else is short range. So there is one regular light machine gun. So 3 shots there. I don't think the rifles are going to have the range. They are too far away. So one machine gun will shoot 5 shots at the Wappel Blitz. And they did not move. The range is over SO4, so you actually get 3 hits on. And this is going to change to a fire here. But it, oh my goodness. So there's 2 6s, so that's going to be 2 rolls on the damage chart. So, yeah, that's just going to be basically changed to a down. So it won't be able to shoot, but it is not destroyed. However, it's going to deal out a pin to the Wappel Blitz and to the unit inside. That was kind of crazy. Alright. So there's 1 German dice left and a whole bunch of French. And it's a French dice. Let's see, with everything here, the way the Germans are going, I would like those guys just to kind of respond. But I think I'm gonna try and move on one of the units. So we're gonna do an order test with one of the transports, and that's gonna be a fail because that is a 9. And 3 dice left, one of them German, but it's French. We're going to try the other transport. So here we go. That one's going to work because they needed an 8 and they got themselves a 6. So the transport is actually, it's going to run on, well, it's going to advance from there. Let's see if the camera's going to hold there or not. So we can go 9 inches, 12 inches, sorry, which will get them to right about there. So here we go. We have a transport on the board, and that is going to fire on the Wappel Blitz. And that sucker has 2 machine guns, which means 10 shots. So we're going to grab our little dice drawing. Again, these dice are from Dice of War down in Australia. Any faction, whatever you want, he's got it. There we go. That's going to be painful also. Now, they moved, which would be 4. The range is above half, so I believe they still needed 5s. But I see 4 of those. And there's another 6, which means a roll on the damage chart at -3. Uh-oh. I think that's an on fire. That could be big trouble for the Wappel Blitz. I'm going to look at my damage chart here. And that is on fire. So it's going to get a pin. Good thing the officer's over there, because big trouble over here. It's going to be an instant rally check. So it's 9 minus the 2 is 7. And we even had the captain over there. So they are all good. And they're still, guess what? They're still down. But it's going to mean more pins for both the guys in that transport and the transport itself. So the French are really doing some target practice on that poor Wappel Blitz. When we have another French dice. That's going to be our medic, and he's just going to go down in the woods. He's sitting over there. Last dice is German. That's the machine gun team over here. So, let's grab our laser. And they're going to try and take out the observer over there. It's going to need some help with 6s. I think we're going to need probably a 6x6. Because the small team down. Here's our 6 dice. One is cocked. I don't see any 6s. So no 6s. And that's the last dice of turn 2. This is a very long segment, I know. Now we're going to see what happens. These ambushes on turn 3. So turn 3 begins with the Germans hard pressed in many ways. Biggest issue is the possible loss of the light howitzer, which has a whole bunch of pins, lots of dead crew, so they may be losing that this turn, especially since the mortar is locked in from the French side. We have the crazy standoff with the Panzer III and the mighty sniper. We still have a few situations here where we've got a Wappel Blitz that's been nuked, and we have the first order dice for the French, which means the Panhard is going to try and take a shot. Going to try and shoot at that helpless poor SDK 222. We're going to roll the 1 dice. That is most definitely a hit. It's not at long range, so it's going to get that full penetration +4. However, the 1 is rolled, so it's just going to be a second pin. So not too bad by our Panhard. Those pins are starting to really pile up. Really pile up. So the next dice, this one's going to be German. And I think the Panzer III is just going to have to finish off this sniper here. So he is going to advance like so to get as close as he possibly can. Sniper at least has a pin on him. Let's get our camera to there's the duel. That's what we're looking to see. So this is crazy, but hey. And it's going to be hull mounted at the sniper. And I just want to be sure, because I think actually the main gun may be able to shoot at... Yeah, I'm going to give it some cover because of what it's going to do, but there's your shot. So, hull mounted. It's going to be Hitler's buzzsaw. 6 dice. And movement 4. Small team 5. Cover 6. Down 1 because of right next to him. So we got 2 hits at least. Sniper team is still alive because one guy is dead. It's definitely going to hurt that sniper team a little bit. Look at that. It's like my first French dead guy. Which means an immediate order test for the French. And the question is, Where's your citron? It is about 1.5 inches too far away. So with 2 pins and 8 means a dead sniper team. So the sniper is kaput. So the next shot we're going to do is the main gun against the panhard. Movement makes it 4. We're going to give it a soft cover of 5. That's going to be a hit. Let's grab German list and see if that's a medium. I think it's probably a medium on there. So it's going to be a +8. That could be very painful for the panhard, especially since, well, it's only a 7 and you're on the side. So that's a 6. So it's got, wow, yeah, I think that's a 3. And that is definitely a dead panhard. So the Panzer III does a hero action and ends up wiping out 2 units in 1 shot. So I'm going to say that's a hero act for the Germans. The next dice was French, and that was the Laughley. The French just all of a sudden are down 2 dice. So this Laughley transport is going to move actually out away from the SDK, and it's going to shoot at the Wappel Blatter that already has a whole bunch of pins for being on fire and everything else to avenge the loss of that panhard that's sitting over there. So we'll set up our camera. Remember, it has 2 machine guns. The crew is still inside, so both are going to work. That's a whole bunch more hits because you don't have to worry about range. They did move. They are within easily 18. So 3 movement, 4. That's a whole bunch of hits. So that's going to be a pin. Even on the crew. Let's see, they've been rolling a lot of 6s against that truck, and there's 2 more. Which means a couple of damage rolls, -3. So it's, well, it's stuck. Another pin and goes down. That crew might end up getting pinned out. But an order dice comes out. So a little revenge the panhard, or for the panhard, with the Laughley shooting up its fellow truckers. These are not happy truckers. Alright, next dice. That's also French. It's actually the howitzer, big howitzer over here. It's going to use open sights, not the observer, to shoot at that Panzer III. So now it's a side shot over there. So let's see what happens. So we're going to roll our 1 dice. That is a 2. So that is a big old miss right there. Just had to kind of take that, but having done that, that is no longer hidden. It's no longer hidden anymore. So let's see, there's only a few things there. I think there's 3 hidden units left. Oh, look at that. That's French. I don't know if the machine gun... we're going to have this unit right here. See if it can't drop a pin onto the panhard, or the, sorry, keep getting obsessed with the panhard, but that's the SDK 222. And there was 1 machine gun that's going to, actually, nope, that's going to be a miss, because range will kill that. So this unit, not successful in its shot. The next dice is also French. Well, we got some observer team. That's why we needed open sights, because that observer team may be gone the way that tank shoots. Well, the French are going to try and get an order dice back, finish off this crew here, because the mortar is locked in. It's going to fire. It just needs 2. So that's going to be the hit. And there's just one guy left in that crew, and he is definitely toast. So, well, at least there is a German order dice going. So the mortar is now, or the mortar has now killed the light artillery. Next dice is German, and we move the Hanomag forward from its place up on the hill. It's got to push this side, just has to push it, because all that's over there is the light anti-tank, mortar, and a medic, and some officers. Wanted to move it before the Citroen had a chance to take any action again and maybe put a pin on it. So, speaking of which, we're going to have a little shooting action between those two, between the Citroen. Got 6 dice. For Hitler's buzzsaw. And we're going to do the light cover. So move 4, there's no range. Light cover 5, so 2 hits. It is not open topped, but it is a pin. And the crew, we'll see if they want to get out of there. But that was an interesting little contest there. Again, sometimes it's pin me before I continue. Next dice is also German. So we're going to have our first snap 2 over here for the Germans. So I've got the captain over here. And just this truck here, we got to rally the unit inside, because the truck may be gone, but we're going to try and rally the unit in there. And he can rally he can do all of these himself. The SDK, the squad, so 1, 2, 3 units, he can do all that. So we're just going to put an advance on him. Actually going to move him more into the forest there. Don't want him getting assaulted or something like that. So we're going to take out some dice here. This unit doesn't have any pins. We're going to do the rally over here. And the SDK is actually going to try and just move and shoot. So let's do some order tests here. So first, the SDK rolls a 9 to 7 minus 2, or 9 minus 2 is 7, but plus 3 makes it 10. So 1 pin goes away. And we'll do that order later. That's actual execution, because we want to see, can we rally that other unit. And I believe it's full. So if it's just a rally, well, an 11 still doesn't work. So a 10, actually a 9 would have worked. 10 would have worked because of the leadership. So that unit in the truck stays down. So SDK 222 is going to basically try to advance and get a shot at the panhard while it still can. It does its 1 move. It's got its pin still. So that is going to be close. We're going to do 2 autocannon shots because we want to pin the unit that's still inside. So it's going to be 2 dice. And that's going to be 2 misses because we're going to need at least a 4 because of movement, and there was actually some light cover. So that did not succeed. Oh, and you had a pin. So not so much luck there for the Germans. Next dice. That is the French. Now, I think the machine gun team over here is going to lose its... There we go. It's not going to be hidden anymore. And it's going to fire at the SDK. And that is definitely beyond 18 inches. So it'll take its 5 shots. And we've got some hits. In fact, we have 3. Cannot damage it, but we can drop another pin on it. Oh, sorry. We have this unit here. And they're going to also head into forest here. So there was an advance for them. And next dice. So there's our Wappel transport. It still has a unit inside. Speaking of a unit inside, it's a little bit dangerous just to be sitting in that transport where they are. So we're actually going to take them out of it. Bring them onto the table. Because we still have, remember, 1 more Wappel transport. It is yet to come in. And they're going to try and move here and hopefully take advantage of some cover around their transport here. So the machine gun doesn't have to be first, because he has the range, but he does need his loader. And we have some rifles over here. Now there's our unit. And they're going to just try and light up that Opel Blitz. Which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rifle shots and 3 machine gun shots. And there's not that many. Well, no, we do have some hits here. We actually have, looks like 5 hits. We need no 6s, so no roll on the damage chart. But that's pin number 6. So heck, this could be a twofer. That unit doesn't get out of there, both will be dead. So it's definitely, things are bouncing back and forth here. Next dice. Oof, that's also French. So we're going to have the Citroen return the favor against the handle mag with its 5 shots because the officer's still inside. And can't hurt it, but it does what they wanted. Pins galore, pins everywhere. Gonna do 1 more order dice here. Nope, sorry, there was a There's a pin. Oh, that's a foobar, but no enemy within 12, so the pins go away. And that changes to down. So much for a captain being in there. So one more order dice, which is German. I'm going to try and bring the Kreuzschützen on, and it's going to take a little while, so I'm going to shut this off and come back with the bikers. Turn 3, so the Kreuzschützen come on the board. Just the way things are going for the Germans, it's more about getting guys off the board. Now, unfortunately, with the bikers, you cannot shoot them on the move. It's the one thing they don't do real well. They just move. There's no roads on this board, so I tried to move them as fast as I could. Now, the next dice was French, and the Wappel passed its order test, and it advanced 12. However, as you can see, and again, this is the interesting thing about the forest, there was no way that I could actually get a shot on the bikers, because you can see that the forest is hiding the majority of the bikers. I can only see one of them. So the machine gunner is going to have to choose some other targets, and that is going to be the Hanno Mag. So we've got 10 shots coming that way, because I don't believe that they can see any of the mortar teams. So we're going to do, yep, that forest is a killer. So that's this one right here. It's really boxing out that Wappel from doing much of anything. So it's just going to take its 10 shots at the Hanno Mag here. And there's a pin. So we're going to grab a pin marker, throw that onto the Hanno Mag, and we're going to grab another dice here. There's not a whole lot left, so that's the dice that are left. Oh, and that one is French. So what I'm going to do is maybe get a little crazy here and bring the unit out of that truck. And they might be able to advance far enough to be able to shoot at that biker squad. I believe they can move 6 inches away. And this one also has a VB launcher in it, of all things. No submachine gun, it does have a light machine gun. So we want him out front. Let's get this moved over to here, I think. That looks like a good spot. So say it's as far as it can move. So we got a machine gunner over here. We'll have some guys enter the forest. See if there's a way to actually get some cover out of this. And this means now a few of these guys, like the machine gunner and a couple of rifles, can shoot at the bikers. So 3 shots, I'm going to say 5 shots in total. And that is going to miss on every single one, so the bikers, they will survive. We draw another dice. That one is also French. Yeah, I see a lot of dice out there already. We're gonna have the larger howitzer. It's gonna have to stay where it is, so we're gonna put that on ambush. Gonna draw another dice. That's also French. So maybe we're gonna have our medic team go down. Draw another dice. This time it is German. This could be a little risky here, but I think we might have the crew in the Hanomag get out. Yeah, so that's going to be a test. There's no officer around. Let's see if they can make an 8. Insane courage, they do. Now, I don't think you can get out and assault. Not even sure that's what they want to now. Remember, the river is impassable. Actually, they're going to go through the forest here, because they don't want them just blocking the Hanomag shot. Remember, the river is not doable for them. So what I do want to have is the machine gun out here. We got his loader and maybe some rifles. So let's just have a machine gunner get into the forest here with his loader, and we'll do some shots with the Germans against the French right here. So they moved. They will be, obviously it's super short, so that's going to negate the movement. Then there's no cover. So 4s. This will be our machine gun first. That's going to be a whole bunch of hits. A couple of rifle shots. And those are going to miss. So here's your 4, looking for 4s. So that's 3, nothing special. However, the medic is easily within 6 inches. Need 6s, of which there are none. So that's 3 and a pin. Just couldn't get enough of them into light cover. So we're going to stop this right now and then do the last few order dice. So to close out turn 3, not a lot of exciting things. We had an officer move a little bit. We had the anti-tank rifle run from their spot. At least to just block these guys. So they at least have to assault them or do something. Over here, machine gun team tried to shoot and missed. The mortar, as you can see, is starting to range in on the other mortar, hasn't hit yet. And the officer team, they ran a little bit forward. This is the junior officer here to see if they can maybe provide some leadership if there's some pins that happen here if the French go first. So let's take this to turn 4. The first order dice for turn 4. First order dice is always important, and this time it goes to the French. You'll see in my little tactics thing in the text why I try to make it vital that you get the first 2 or 3 order dice. But anyway, we're going to try and simulate that with a snap 2 with our junior officer here. Going to try and make a few units do their thing. This squad and the transport. Squad's got a pin on them, so they are going to be at 9 minus 1 for 8, plus 2, 10, and that is a 6. So the pin is removed, and they are going to advance. Man, their squad, it's kind of a desperation move right here, because otherwise this whole right flank may just collapse. So they've got a light machine gun here, we've got some pistol packers in the back, we even have a VB launcher. So there's that advance. Now the officer himself is going to move into the vehicle with his assistant, so they're going to go off the board, and the dice is going to be in here, and then we're going to have this execute a fire order against this squad of Germans. But first, let's take our shots here. This is an all-important action here against the Kreuzschützen. Have to take these mobile guys down. They have 7 shots, 3 from the light machine gun, 3 from the rifles, but the pistol is too far away. We're going to see if the VB launcher can do also. So here we go. We're going to roll our dice right here. We will need 4s. Looks like, because, well, yeah, the guys that really can't shoot are not at super short range. So moved is normally 4, super short range actually makes it 3. So 3s will hit. So that's 2 misses. So they really need to kill 3 of the bikers here. And sadly, only 1. So that's going to be a pin, which we'll put on there right now. Which leaves us to the Laffley over here. Again, it's going to shoot at the squad. I believe you have to declare those orders before you do them. So this is already not quite worked out the way the officers wanted to. Alright, well, at least here, maybe we make the bikers have to dismount and slow them down. So Laffley gets 10 shots against this squad that's in cover. It has not moved. They are in light cover. It's at regular range. That will be 4s. And we've got 10 dice here, and we're going to roll it right in this. So looking for 4s again, trying to do some damage to the squad. And, well, hope we can save some of those 6s possibly. So, looks like 6 hits. So at least will be a pin there. And everybody's regular, so 4s for the kill. That's going to do a little damage, so 3 kills. There is 1 possible extraordinary damage, but that does not happen. So we're going to take away those casualties, and we'll draw the next order dice. Actually, I'll do that right here. The next order dice is also French. That was very key. So we'll be back with that dice. Since this vehicle represents a big threat right now, even with the 2 pins, to this squad over here in the transport, which is trying to actually advance on this right flank, we're going to take the shot with the medium howitzer on to the armored car. With range, no movement, no cover, it's a 3. And we've got ourselves a hit Let's see what kind of damage that we're going to get with this. Alright, so that is just enough to cause some pins. I believe it's D. 3 pins. No, that's going to be 3 more pins. So that's going to make life a little bit more difficult for this guy here. So we'll be on with the next order dice. Remember what I said about multiple order dice? This is one of the reasons why I have things like captains, and why you'll notice there's kind of a campfire around this guy, especially a German captain, because he's got to do a mega snap to right now. See these big old piles of pins right here? There are 3 big piles he's going to try and erase. So he's going to try and rally the 222 first. And it's a rally, so a 7 is adequate, because that's all they're trying to do. And they will remove 4 pins, which is a big deal, because that SDK is now down to 1. We've got the truck and the squad inside, each with 6 pins. This is going to be for the truck first. And as a rally, that will work because it'll be rally on your full leadership, plus you have a +3 for the captain. See how many pins are removed. That's another 4 pins. So that means the truck goes from 6 to 2. What about the squad inside? Once again, they will fail. So they're going to stay down in the truck, but they're still got those 6 pins. So if the French get the next dice and that squad fires, that means you're going to have at least potentially 7, possibly 8 if another squad gets to move on the unit inside this Wappel Blitz. So we'll draw the next order dice and see what happens. So the next all-important order dice is also French. That means this squad right here that was used with the lefty transport, they are going to try and shoot at the Wappel Blitz. Try and get more pins. They'll possibly even take out the Wappel Blitz. But if they can get some more pins, they can come close to pinning out the squad that's inside. So we did a quick calculation, it seems, with the machine gun and everything else. There are 10 shots, and it looks like it's 4s for just being over half range, except for we're going to do the 3 machine gun shots, because that is under. So all 3 of those are going to hit. We'll take those aside. And now we're going to do the rifles. The submachine gun, obviously too far away. So it looks like we have 3 also with the rifles. So we got pins already. Are we going to get any kind of... And I see no 6s. So the truck survives again. So we'll put out those pins. And we'll draw our next order dice. Well, there's going to be a run on French order dice, it looks like. Now, of course, the Germans did just take a few out of the box, so that's the downside of the Snap 2s, especially Mega Snap 2s. But the Lafley, obviously, that wants to get that much closer to pinning out the squad inside this Wappel Blitz. And it's got 5 shots to do that with, sorry, because there is nobody in there, and it is also gonna need 3s, of which we have 3. And can we get any 6s to join that? So there are no 6s. Once again, the truck survives, but now the squad is 1 pin away. 1 pin away from heading back to the Brauhaus. And we're going to draw another order dice. We'll do it live here. That one is German. So we'll get back with that dice. Over here on this right flank, we're actually going to have the German mortar take its shot at the French mortar. They've got time to spare over here, because there's really nothing else the French can do. And they also don't want that mortar team to move while it's ranged in. So let's get a quick roll here. And that is going to hit. And there's only 2 guys there. They will go down to try and have the number of hits. So you have yourself another kill. And you've got some pins also. So the mortar loses another one of its members, and now that is fully ranged in. Basically, the Germans are trying to get a 3rd order dice there, just in case these guys aren't able to break through the hedgehogs here and get through. Because all they have to deal with is a medic and an anti-tank rifle team. I think these guys are pretty much toast in an assault. So we're going to pick the next order dice, and we'll get right back with you. So the Citroen armored transport is going to at least, I think, try and put another pin on the Hanomag. All of these things are far enough away from the officer. Maybe the Germans won't get that officer dice before they have to try and do some of their assaults over here with their 1 pin. That's 5 shots. Going to need a 4 because of the cover, and 6 is enough to do it. So that means another pin on the Hanomag. Let's just draw a quick order dice here while we're alive, and let's see what happens. This one's also French, so we're going to have to think about it, and we'll see with that dice. The French just keep drawing these order dice. Eventually, they are going to run out. The machine gun team, it's over here in cover. They are going to try and reestablish a few pins on the 222. So 5 shots. That's probably against 4s because I measured it out because of the range. And well, I wish they could save that. But what it does do, dishes out another pin. I'm going to draw an order dice here, and that is finally German. And we're going to set up the assault on the right flank. So the French attempt over here just didn't work out at all. Kreuzschützen jumped off their bikes, and they are now hot on the trail of these very exposed French infantry. So there's actually 2 they're going to count as tough fighters. We'll do those after the original 3. These are guys who just have rifles, loader, and 2 of those are going to count as casualties. So I'll set those aside, and here are our 2 submachine gun armed tough fighters. Those both hit. So that is a combination of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which leaves the French with 2. To respawn. However, those are both hits, and that actually means something. And let's see if that is not extraordinary. So we're going to take away. I'm going to take away the VB launcher. I'm going to leave. Well, they're just going to have to leave the NCO all by him. Nope, we do have another guy here. But the Kreuzschützen also have to lose 2. So there is still hope after all. And we'll do this again. So the Germans, however, well, we got 1 that doesn't have tough fighters. So we're going to roll that over here. That's a miss. See what happens. Our 2 tough fighters is simultaneous. Oh my goodness. Everybody whiffed. French still have 2 guys left. A couple of 4s or 1-4. They're going to win. However, they also fluffed the roll. So I think that's going to be pretty fatal for the French. So here's our one non-tough fighter. He still misses. We have one tough fighter hit, but there's still one French guy left to respond. He misses. Wow, that was a lot of fluffing by the French. Apparently not really trained very well in hand-to-hand combat. So we're going to roll the consolidation. It's 3. So we'll advance these guys and draw the next order dice. The next order dice, also French. Not a lot for these guys to do, except try and do some more pins on the 2-2-2. And like before, mostly, yeah. So that'll give us the pin on the 2-2-2. And we'll just do a quick live draw here. Next order dice, and that is German. And we'll see what we're going to do with that. With that German order dice, we're going to have an assault over here against the Wappel. So this could be the collapse of the French flank right here. We're going to do 7 dice. There's a couple tough fighters in here. They only need a 4. Wow, they needed everything. But there's a couple of 4s there. So open topped means that this gets destroyed. However, it's going to remain there as a wreck, and it's going to block this section off here. So we're going to put our flames right here. There are the 2 guys who are in the transport here, and we will roll to see what happens to them. So only 1, and it's a injury. Okay, so I believe they can choose the captain, which means now an order test, which is actually passed. So the assistant survives, but the leader does not. And that's a dead junior officer, and we're going to do a 6 for their consolidation. So they're actually going to consolidate into the woods and get close to the medic team. So this could mean German victory right here, actually. So that was a very success. Pretty much everything here is worked out exactly as the Germans would have liked. And we're going to do an order dice, which is also German. And what we're going to actually do is pick this up. By the way, that infantry squad, it had a pin on it, and it was able to recover, pass that order test, and execute that. What we're going to have is the officer over here. Now, he's not going to be able to get down there because he's just a junior officer. So we're going to have the Hanomag do its order test to see if it can advance, and it does not because it has 2 pins, so it needed actually a 7. So that is going to go down. We draw another order dice, which is also German. So we're actually going to have the machine gun team try and take a shot over here at the Citron. Going to measure just to make sure it's actually 36. And it is actually short. So that is going to be a wasted shot there where they're just out. I think that is probably why the Citron just stayed there to take its shots. So another order dice. This one is French. And we are going to try and consider what we're going to do here. Now, the medic obviously cannot assault. So the medic is going to try and head for the hills. So they're going to do a run order. And they're basically just going to try and take some cover behind that transport. So that's your French dice. Run. Going to do another order dice here, which is also German. We're going to move that officer team. We're not going to necessarily, well, we're going to run them. We're going to see just how far they can go. Yeah, they are not too exposed, so that's good. And next order dice. Also German, the machine gun team over here, which hasn't really done a whole lot of anything. It's going to go on ambush again. Going to draw another order dice. That is also German. And we'll see what we're going to do with this. And be right back. The next order dice was German. And this is going to be an unusual maneuver. They're actually going to just bypass these observers, which at this point are less and less meaningful. And it's going to try and do another 2-for-1, just like it did with the Panhard. So it's going to take its main gun shot at the Citron, machine guns with Hitler's buzzsaw at the captain, see if they can't wipe him out. That would be a very serious thing. So here's the roll for the machine gun shot. And that is plenty of hits. And that's plenty of kills. So they wipe out that team. Now, what about the Citron? That is also a hit. And that's going to be a damage roll. And they take that out. So we have yet another massive maneuver by the Panzer III. It does look like armor is going to help the Germans break through the hedgehogs here, because now you have a dead officer. So as we get into turn 5, the German breakthrough seems to be about imminent. While it's going to be held up over here by this hedgehog, we can see that the armor can make all the difference, because the Panzer III has just marched its way through the center here and just wreaked destruction and havoc. The first order dice of turn 5 also went to the Germans, and they're going to finish off what's left of this, and they're going to try and then run off the board, because that would be one of their victory conditions. I think it's 3 points for every unit that they get off the board. And they successfully kill the one Frenchman opposing them. And that 4 inches should be more than enough. And they can get off the board. So that unit exits, and that is 3 points for the Germans. Now the French are going to take a little bit of revenge for their fallen brothers here, as this squad is going to try and finish off. They want to try and finish off the Opel Blitz and the crew inside. They'd have to actually damage the Opel Blitz, but the crew inside is sitting at 8 pins. So they have plenty of shots here between the light machine gun and some rifles. And we're just going to see that is more than enough to finish off the rifle squad, which gets a pin. They need, and there is 1 6. See if they can get the 6 to take out they get a 4, and we leave -3, so that is an on fire. Now, with 5 pins, you do have a captain nearby, so that's 2 pins, a 7. Oh, so they do get a twofer. So the truck and the squad inside are kaput. We'll draw the next order dice and see what happens. With the next order dice, the Panzer III decided to think about 3 victory points, and it did a run down the hill, staying on the other side of the trees, the other side of the tree line from the ambush of the 75. The next order dice was French, and again, about all they can do is collect order dice. So the medium howitzer, once again, takes a shot right here at the poor little defenseless 222. Once again, needing a 3, and that is a 6. So that is another hit, and I believe it was a +3, +4, penetrate because of open topped. So still not enough to get the necessary damage. Pin wise, only 1 pin. Next order dice, that is also French. Actually, I think we put the pins out there. Well, the Wappel doesn't have as many targets, so it's going to use its machine gun also to shoot at the 222. That's 5 shots, also needing 3s. And we get enough 3s to register 1 more pin on the 222. We'll draw another dice. This is probably going to be a very quick turn. It's the French once again. And we'll have the machine gun team. They're just going to keep piling shots. There's nothing else they can see. And that's another hit on the 222. So that becomes 6 pins at least. That is going to be pretty much held there. And that is another French dice. Well, we're going to have the infantry squad also fire. I believe last time I calculated that, it was 11. So here we go, another roll on the 222. And that's another hit. Gives it 7 pins. But if they had more things over here, they could actually almost come close to pinning this thing into non-existence. But we're going to draw another order dice here again. That is also French. So we're going to take a pause here and see where we're going to go with this dice. The motor team in the woods over here, they attempted to just take a desperation shot. Morale test was most definitely failed. Speaking of morale test, the next order dice was German. And with the junior officer over here, they want the Hanomag to try and run, see if they can maybe get that off the board too. So he basically negates the 2 pins. However, that's an 11, and that means the Hanomag will stay down and not go anywhere. So I'm going to run over here, and we're going to try and grab another order dice, which is also German, and we're going to have the officer team go down. There aren't too many French order dice left, but we actually drew a French order dice. And what we'll also do is put a ambush order here on the anti-tank rifle team. And there's our destroyed Opel Blitz. Still have that unit over there. Basically, at this point, all the Germans have to do on this side is just hold. And that's what they are actually going to do. This squad is going to go down just to make sure it doesn't get pasted by anything, because the breakthrough is clearly happening on the right flank. We have another German dice. That's going to be the 222, which will attempt to rally. And we will see how many pins it might be able to lose. That is a successful rally. How many pins will it lose? It's going to lose almost all of those 7 pins. Next order dice is French, and we're going to pause and see what happens. This one of the last French order dice. Drawing to the end of turn 5, can see a near collapse here of this hedgehog. Mortar team is nearly gone. However, the German mortar team, even though they were ranged in with a 2, you can see they rolled a 1 and missed. The medic team didn't really know what to do, so they scattered into the forest there. Kreuzschützen dismounted. They went into these woods. Officer actually went into the Hanomag transport just to prevent any kind of random stray shots. This is about the most interesting thing that could happen in turn 6, and that would be the howitzer maybe trying to get a shot on the Panzer III as it attempts to get off the board. And remember, the Panzer III is the only vehicle left on the board that can get across this river. So we'll be back with turn 6. The first order dice of turn 6, that went to the Germans, and we have official breakthrough. We have the Panzer III, goes through the center, gets off the board. That is 3 more points for the Germans. Another order dice for the Germans. They were able to finish off the French mortar team. So that's a quick 4 points that the Germans secured. And they also got yet another order dice. So here you have the 222. And if it can get rid of its pins, it's just going to try and lob some autocannon shots on that French squad. Maybe throw some pins there. So here's the order test. It's actually at a 10 because of the nearby officer. So that succeeds. 2 autocannon shots. It's going to be 4 because of the light cover. Both of those are going to hit. And it looks like, I'm going to bring this over here so we can see the targeting of the squad. It's like the best that they can do is to get 4. Squad could go down, but they need to be able to shoot. So, actually, I believe that's just going to be 1 kill. Consulting real quick my sheet here. And the autocannon looks to be, that's an HE1. So that is only going to be 1 kill. We have some pins, plenty of pins. So a couple of pins and a few dead Frenchmen. And the pin, well, actually, he still had 1 pin left, but that was a 5 and a 6, so they had plenty. Still had plenty to reach this squad, hit it, put some pins on it. So we're going to grab the next order dice, and we'll see what's up. The next order dice is French, and we're going to have See if at last the medium howitzer can maybe finish off 222. Well, it does hit it again. And doesn't destroy it again. So we'll do some pins, and it's going to get 3 pins back, but that is a little bit too late. Draw another order dice, see what happened. That is also French. And yeah, it looks like we're going to have pretty much the same thing happen. So we'll have the Laughley shoot at the 222. That is 5 shots, and yes, that will hit it. It's going to be 5 pins. Let's see what the next order dice is here. Happens to be French. Squad. Right here. It's going to, let's see, that'd be 7, 8, 9, so it could potentially be pinned out if the next 2 order dice are French. So we got the 1 hit that we needed. There's a whole bunch more guys, but that puts it at 6 pins. The French need the next 2 order dice. Yep, there's 1 more. And it's going to be this squad right here. We're going to have them. They're also going to shoot at and hit 222. That goes to 7 pins. We have an order dice draw if it is French, which, believe it or not, it is. Oh, yeah, so I think we are at, we may not have enough. May not have enough pins, so we got our 5 machine gun shots here, which also yields some hits. So that is at 8. Yeah, one more order dice coming up. So now we have a whole bunch of French order dice. We have a howitzer pointed in the wrong direction. There is very little left over here, except for a medic team. It's going to go down. That is fire, that's not down. We've got an order dice coming that is German. And it's going to be the captain over here. He goes down. There aren't many dice left, but we do have a German dice. And we are going to try to advance or run with this panel mag. The officer inside. And that's no problem. A pin goes away. And can basically advance to about there. So the next order dice, also German. And we're just going to put a down order on this squad. It's followed by another German dice. And if there are any... yep, we have an officer in the vehicle. He goes down. So at this point, the Germans are ahead a massive amount of order dice. So we are going to see what happens with these last 2 French order dice. For our last action of turn 6, we're going to see if that light howitzer can somehow get through all of these obstructions, still manage to shoot at the transport. So we measured it out, and it's going to be 5s because of soft cover and distance. That is not a 5, and that will end turn 6. So we're going to grab a German dice here. We'll see if there's a turn 7. There is a turn 7, so we'll be back with that. Lo and behold, the first order dice at turn 7 is French. And that means possibly claiming an order dice here, because that is sitting on 8 pins. We just need 1 hit. 3s. Well, there are 2. So that means the 2-2-2 exits the field, exits stage left. Because 9 pins takes that puppy out. So a little bit of revenge for the French. We have a German die here. And we're not going to do that. We're actually going to have Krautschützen squad here. They can advance right about to the edge of the trees. And I have 2 submachine guns. One submachine gun, and then the other will act as a loader for the light machine gun. So we'll grab ourselves some dice for the Germans. And we'll just do first 6. And again, they're shooting at the anti-tank rifle team. So they moved for 4. They're going to have to deal with cover for 5. Small team is 6. They are not down. Yeah, there's no 6s there. Last shots. There are no 6s. So the anti-tank rifle team is going to survive. And then we'll grab the next dice. With the armored car out of the way, we're actually going to have an open sights shot against the squad in the wood here, because they haven't had a chance to go down yet, although I'm sure the officer will if there's a hit registered. So we looked at the range, and it would seem that there is a soft cover, which will negate that 3. So the howitzer is a miss. And we're going to drag out another order dice here. That is German. And the officer is just going to go down to make sure that nothing happens to him. At this point, they have a massive lead. So here's the French. And it's going to be this squad here. They have 2 pins. We're going to do their rally test. That is a 10. So they do not succeed and they go down. They have the next order dice, which is German. And there's no point in this squad in the woods right here. Swing the camera around, so they just went down. No sense in exposing themselves to fire at this point. It is a French dice. And at this stage, not a lot they can do. This unit is going to attempt to fire at this unit here in the woods. The machine gun, I gotta check the range. You have 6 rifles and 1 machine gun. So we have 6 rifles and a machine gun right here. And with distance needing, I know the machine gun's going to need different, so we're going to just take 2 6s as hits because of the cover in the woods. I think the machine guns might have been able to, but at this point the French, there is 1 6. It would take an awful lot of those to make any difference. So we'll put the pin on that squad. There's only 3 French order dice left here in the box, and that is a French order dice. So we'll be back with that one. The rest of turn 7 played out in a very meek fashion. Mostly everything on the German side either went down or attempted to fire and miss. Again, it's more about keeping units alive. They didn't really need any more order dice to kill off. They didn't need to move off any more units. Because you can see right here, this is your tally. Yeah, French with 4 and the German with 3 points for each vehicle off the board, or each unit off the board, and then a whole bunch of order dice. And I believe they get 1 point per order dice here. So that's going to be 8, which already counteracts the French dice over here, because I think they get 2 points apiece. And this is basically the difference in the game, is the breakthrough of those 2 units. So that's, in some ways, that played out a little bit the way it should. That the killing of the units not as important as getting units off the board. So as you can see, this flank just sort of stayed where it was. But over here, on this side, you had a massive German advance with their faster units, and the Panzer III that could just charge its way right through the middle. It was kind of expected, because again, all they had for anti-tank was an anti-tank rifle. That was sort of the point of this exercise, was to try and leave some things as they were, not a lot of anti-tank things, but maybe see if some kind of units, like these guys here in the left, these could advance and maybe turn the tide. Had the French maybe won this combat over here, they almost got very lucky. That actually is one of the units that went off the board. So who knows how that goes. So I'm going to try and do some post-game analysis here real quick. In the final analysis of this, as I thought, the Panzer III could really make a big difference. Now, if it had missed in its shots the way some of the other larger artillery pieces did and some of the mortars, might have been very different. But this, it cleared out. You can see the swath of destruction, and it just annihilated here. Now, so maybe some of these shots weren't necessarily the easiest. Some of them were kind of fortuitous, but it just charged right through the center. There was really nothing that could stop this. So this is your man of the match right here. That is your MVP of the battle. Thanks for watching this battle report. This one is very much a test. I've learned a lot doing this first one. I really wasn't sure how I could film things, even a lot of technical hurdles to overcome. And like in future battle reports, I'm going to do more off-camera order dice draws, because that just tends to take a lot of time, and I end up having to swing the camera around a lot. I don't really want to move it around like this too much, because it kind of makes the viewers dizzy. Appreciate you guys watching this. You can see again how everything was painted on my blog. I've got that address up on the screen. The mat from Table War, it's their fat mats. The dice from Dice of War. And you can support me on Patreon. That's just James Wappel at patreon.com. And I'm going to do more battle reports, many, many more. This is just the very first one. Some of those will be patron-only views. So check those out. I'll let everybody know when those are on the way.